actually in 2004, with Poland joining the European Union, it was the start of a large wave of Polish migration to the UK, but with the Ukrainians not being members of the EU, they were not able to follow. Now, after the start of the war in Ukraine, you had a large wave of Ukrainian refugees that reached the UK, not in the numbers that they went to Poland or Germany, but I do believe that now there is somewhere up to 150,000 or even 200,000 Ukrainians living in the UK. I'm not sure whether you have had the chance to meet any of them during your trips back to the...
Because I've been here, of course.
Since the war has started, yeah. So I'm guessing that they aren't maybe as visible in...
No, the Polish community has always been much more visible in the United Kingdom. When you drive around the bigger cities, particularly, you see lots of sort of Polish social clubs with their white eagle on the outside and so forth. And of course in the clergy, in the Catholic Church, there have always been quite a few Polish, and even more now, Polish Catholic churches, or Catholic churches with Polish priests, to be more accurate. So they have been much more prominent.
Yes, the question is now with the Ukrainians whether they will stay in the UK long term, and in that case how their process of integrating will look like. But just by sheer numbers, I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but I'm guessing that by now they're probably in the top 10 or at least top 15, but maybe even top 10 of largest ethnic minorities in the country. So it is certainly a large change compared to the British and Ukrainian relations that you had previously, that now there is actually a Ukrainian large minority and society that is in the UK. But if we return to the 1990s, after the visit of Margaret Thatcher in 1990, you have Ukrainian independence in 1991, and you have the slow entry of some English or British business ventures into Ukraine. However, the market was difficult as it was quite volatile. You never knew exactly what legal regulations would be in place a year or two after you had tried to enter the market. With Poland and other parts of Central Eastern Europe, by 95 or so, it had become apparent that EU membership was just a question of time. And actually, there would be still a long road to walk before Poland and those countries became members in 2004. But the process had started, and there was a certain harmonization of legislation between the EU and those countries. In Ukraine, you didn't really have it. By 94, there was another episode in which the UK and Ukraine's relations became intertwined. I'm thinking here of the conference in Budapest, the OSCE conference on December 5th, 1944, where the issue was mainly
94.
Yes, 94, of nuclear weapons, where naturally, as the UK being one of the world's accepted, tolerated, non-rogue nuclear powers, I'm thinking here of, at that point, it was Russia, the US, China, France, and the UK. So these were the countries that were tasked with solving the issue of what to do with the nuclear weapons that had been spread out in the Soviet Union after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. So there was the issue of Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine, and most of those nuclear weapons naturally were in Ukraine, some strategic bombers as well. And the question was what to do with it. The Ukrainians at that time, under the President Kravchuk, were willing to negotiate. They were trying to get some form of security guarantees, which they also received from the countries that participated in this conference. But the deal, more or less, was that Ukraine gave those assets over to Russia in exchange for security guarantees. And these security guarantees have since been invoked by Ukraine on several occasions in connection with the invasion in 22, but also partly in 2014 that discussion did surface. Now there is a discussion of new security guarantees being issued for Ukraine to end the war before they would get any NATO membership, if that would be a viable path forward.
Adam, as usual, the clock in the corner of the studio has defeated us, so I'm going to have to ask you to pause there. We'll pick it up next time. There we are. Time and tide wait for no man, certainly not in television studios. Anyway, fear not. If you join us next time, as we hope you will, we'll continue the story here on Poland Daily History. Thank you for watching.